Hello everyone, this is Yoko. In this channel, I often feel that information from China isn't accurately reaching countries outside of China. Therefore, I've taken it upon myself to gather information and share it in English. I gather information from various sources, so I'd appreciate your comments on the content of the videos. Additionally, English is not my native language, so I use an AI speaker to create the audio to ensure I convey the information accurately. Lately, there has been a lot of discussion about China's relationships with Iran and Israel. While China is attracting significant attention on the global stage, various issues continue to arise within Chinese society. In this context, I would like to introduce some domestic issues in China in this discussion. First, let's take a look at this article, which is about a place called Zhongxing in the Jilin province. For those who are well versed in history, Zhongxing might ring a bell as an ancient location. Currently, it is an agricultural area known for its vast cornfields. An incident has caught public attention, where about 500 people came to the cornfields and attempted to take corn without permission. The local police were called to the scene, but the sheer number of people made it difficult for them to respond effectively. This incident was widely publicized in China with the title "Numerous villagers in Jilin province stealing corn," but later, the local government issued a statement claiming that the people were not stealing corn but rather picking up corn that had fallen in the fields after harvest. This was likely because the local government was worried that if the story of people stealing crops from a field owned by a Shanghai-based company spread, it could deter investment and business in the area due to security concerns. The Shanghai-based company probably didn't anticipate such an incident, but videos from the scene where corn was being taken without permission were circulated on the internet. In these videos, the individuals taking the corn did not appear to be secretive or ashamed, it seemed more like a collective act. This incident reveals a unique perspective on local sensibilities in this region. In China, even Chinese people may not fully understand the realities of far-flung regions. For example, if grain prices are expected to rise, the local government in Jilin province might consider growing corn. However, the risks that were unforeseen by the Shanghai-based company, which ventured into agricultural business in a distant area, could have serious consequences. This incident suggests that simply raising corporate taxes in Japan may not lead business owners to leave the country for tax havens, as some argue. Even when corporate taxes were higher in the past, Japanese company owners didn't significantly move their businesses abroad. The costs for corporations go beyond taxes. Going outside Japan often means dealing with worse security conditions, different employee sensibilities, and risks like theft of company assets or money, or power outages, which are rare in Japan but more common in foreign countries. Therefore, while increasing corporate taxes might lead to discussions about businesses relocating, it's a hypothetical scenario. There are many who believe it's not advisable to raise corporate taxes. On a separate note, a significant development is happening in China. Local governments in China have been issuing special purpose bonds for local festivals. These bonds allow local governments to raise money, but there are limitations on how and when they can be issued. However, some local governments in China have found ways to borrow money beyond these limits by creating special purpose entities, leading to a hidden mountain of debt. This issue has been discussed for a while and is considered one of the major problems in the Chinese economy, alongside the massive debt in the real estate sector. The hidden debt of local governments is of even greater concern than the real estate debt because it is believed that local governments implicitly guarantee it, resulting in vast sums of money flowing in various directions. However, local governments are facing financial difficulties, and special purpose entities are running out of funds, which could lead to an inability to repay debts. If this happens, it could have a more significant impact than the real estate industry's debt crisis. The reason for this is that special purpose entities, which are the local government's alter egos, are involved in various administrative services. If they run out of funds, it could result in a halt to essential public services. Additionally, many believe their loans were secure because the government was backing them, but if the money doesn't get repaid, it could lead to a chain reaction of bankruptcies. This issue has been a concern for some time, and the Chinese Communist Party has now allowed local governments to issue special purpose debt to raise funds to address their hidden debts. This has been initiated in several provinces where there have been concerns about these hidden debts. In response, the government has instructed banks to provide loans for these bonds, which is somewhat similar to the strategy of transferring non-performing loans of banks to government-managed asset companies. The change that will result from this is that the debt previously held by special purpose entities, acting on behalf of local governments, will shift to become the debt of the local governments themselves. While this may not lead to substantial immediate changes, it could help clarify the extent of local government debt, which has been relatively unclear. However, this move doesn't necessarily solve the local government debt problem. It simply transfers the responsibility to a different entity. The risk remains, and the future resolution of this issue is uncertain. Without such actions, many regions in China were at risk of a breakdown in government services. In fact, in some areas of China, government services have already come to a halt. I've previously discussed examples such as the suspension of public transportation services and instances where government employees had their salaries reduced or not paid at all. Not paying government employees is not a sustainable solution, and without special support, the government's functioning was on the verge of collapse. The temporary relief provided by Chinese banks is not a long-term solution but more of a transfer of the existing bad loans onto the government's debt. This action does not reduce the risk for the banks, and it doesn't resolve the underlying issue. The long-term effects of these actions are unclear, and the problem of local government debt is far from being resolved. China is facing various challenges, such as difficulties in withdrawing funds from banks, and it is a growing issue in Chinese society. However, the global focus on China is primarily on its relations with the Middle East, the situation in Taiwan, the relationship with Russia, and similar geopolitical concerns. As a result, there might not be as much attention on the current state of Chinese society and the lives of the Chinese people. This channel aims to cover a broader range of topics, including these aspects of Chinese society. That's all for this discussion. See you next time.